Welcome to DiceSized, and welcome back to Wish Hunter. This is a D&D audio adventure podcast where we tell bite-sized, dice-rolled, twice-told stories. This is me, your DM and friend, Robert Whitehead, and with me, as always, is my lovely table of friends and family. We, of course, have George.
Hey, it's G, and I'm playing Parable. I've got my good book ready, and I'm excited to discover some magic in this session. Intimidated, but also very excited for this session and what we've come to.
The magic feels more and more real with every creeping step that the golden hunger spirit takes towards you. But
don't talk about it.
Don't worry, Parable. We ascertained as the web closed back in last session that the hunger spirit might be awaiting. So you guys might have to be facing other dangers like Arisvara last session. But that's the recap. Parable, welcome.
Arisvara.
Fuck. Why do I keep
I know it was
fucking rule? Okay.
For everyone listening,
it's
been a dispute.
It's been a dispute between both my conscious brain, my subconscious brain, Maya's conscious brain, and her subconscious brain.
And no one knows what the fuck is going on.
Yeah. Excuse me, thank you. It's like when I'm sitting here at the mic, it changes.
This is all him just covering the identical twin that Arisvara has.
Aris and Eris.
Oh,
ooh, dastardly.
Dastardly.
I mean, when we say Arisvara, it just sounds...
Yes,
maybe
exactly.
Aris.
That's what
Maybe.
the name... Yes,
You're trying to knock him down a peg, and so is Zin, and she respects it. So.
Maybe Aris is an Eris.
Oh. Such a Cassie line.
So good.
Transition.
Can you do that every time I say something, guys?
Anyways, we of course have Maya.
Hey guys, it's Maya. You can call me Maya. Here playing Zin. Loving every minute of it. I don't know if Zin could say the same. Definitely approaching some conflict today, and I'm excited about it.
I think I did think about making headcanon, at least for myself, that because Maya and I have been struggling with the name Arisvara so much that Zin also can't quite remember and has mispronounced it on several occasions.
I think she does it out of spite at this point.
Yes.
Like she's not doing it. I'm like, I will not call you Arisvara. You will be Varys or Eris or what was his name again?
I love it.
Okay, Eris.
Take some flexibility going forward.
All right, dear Eris.
I'll
Take a seat, dear guy.
I'll try to stick to the Arisvara, the bright lord and chosen one that he is. And of course, last but certainly not least, we have Savannah.
Sav here. I will be playing Cassiopeia tonight, who is feeling just terrible about having crossed her fingers when making a promise to Zin. Maybe we'll unpack that today.
No.
Friendship
There
broken.
are so many things happening right now, but we are low-key beefing. So,
I can feel the beef.
but like a good person with a list, there are priorities, and I can address that later with you. in
Look, and
private.
maybe we can unpack why Cassie doesn't have trust.
You know, as long as you hold space for me.
I'll hold space for
Anything
you.
is possible.
They're doing the pinching the finger thing where
Anything.
they're like it indicates that you're holding space.
She
for someone.
She will cross her fingers, but you know, she still holds space for me, so I forgive you.
That's cute. That's
Thank
cute.
God.
Wait, I need to be clear on this. Maya forgives.
Maya forgives.
Yeah.
Zin, we'll see.
Okay.
I need you to know. I love you.
Okay.
I love you too.
The love is in the air tonight.
Can you feel
Okay. Wait, no.
Not long enough.
Mm-mm.
Now you can have that earworm,
much
listener.
more poorly performed, you two talented individuals. And with that, we will get back to the world of the Lands Apart and on to a recap. Last time, our heroes narrowly escaped the golden hunger spirit, navigating crystalline webbing studded with prismatic nodes that served as demi-plane prisons for its captured prey. It seemed that not all beings captured by the monstrosity were immediately consumed. Some were stored for a future meal. Though pressed for time, the party chose to free several imprisoned beings along their path. Zin released a frightened baby giant spider, earning its aid through web sense. Parable freed Volano, an unconscious Starwatch monk, and Cassie's final strike broke free a giant goat, which quickly fled. Parable offered the young giant spider an oath, one of shared vengeance, as he felt the now dubbed Papaya's thirst for vengeance against the golden spirit of hunger, and gained a steed in the process. Despite their escape, the party bore golden scars from the memory-infused strands, each experiencing visions of the spirit's victims. Zin and Cassie shared the last moments of Lyra, a Starwatch hand, who saw the rainbow mist of the Sibylline Falls before being consumed. Zin recognized the location, but not the rising trail of smoke and cracked stone that indicated impact. In a moment of lagging behind the group, Zin was nearly discovered by Arisvara and his 2 sycophants that accompanied him. Given the quiet help of a wicked willow, Zin overheard their plans to seek out that filthy Firbolg druid, thought quickly and cleverly redirected them toward the golden hunger spirit by planting the idea of seeking the light's power here. And of course, Arisvara took the bait. For the first time, Zin then did something she'd never done before. She shared her full revelations with the party, who rallied around her resolve, especially Lemillion. Oh, that's the best kind of murderous one you didn't even do. Oh, I'm so proud of you. We should really carry on, though. I'll go first, since you said we're headed to safety, yes? And united by the urgency also presented in Lyra's vision, you were all urged by the feeling of salvation within it, of getting to the falls, and of course, also spurred by Zin's memory, you forged onward to the rainbow-misted Sibylline Falls, or as Zin is slowly coming to remember, also known as Rainbow's Fate, a colloquialism to the people of her community, indicating where the rainbow ends, as this rainbow used to be near the community, but is no longer. This area becomes more and more familiar to you, Zin, specifically. Cassie, to you especially, it's from Lyra's vision as well. And Parable, this is just a weird day for you as we rejoin our heroes now as multicolored mists seem to dance up along the oddly slow falling waters of the Sibylline Falls in front of you.
I don't want to be presumptive, but I think we're here.
Yeah, things are starting to look pretty familiar, I'd have to say.
Oh, geez.
I honestly don't really know if, where the fuck we are. So I'm following both of you, and also hiding quite a bit if you didn't notice. And I'm just happy to be where we're going, if we're going, because I'm starting to feel a headache.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Just mind your footing.
Why are you all stopping? Onward! As Lemillion marches, and he seems to start heading towards the waterfall in a direction, and then he kind of veers off in a different direction. And Villano whispers up from, still kind of harmed, and although your lay on hands was enough to get him up and going, he whispers to the group kind of in a pained way as he's riding. Yes, this is just a creature. Just a creature, not a spider. Just a creature, not a spider.
You're just on a horse. You're fine.
Why are we stopping? Is there safety ahead?
Cassie rolled a 21 perception check.
The waterfall is obvious in terms of what Villano's saying.
Zin, you said you've been here before?
Yeah, would it make sense for Zin to have advantage on a history check here?
Yeah, I'll give Zin
That'd be huge. Thank
history
you.
check.
My first one was a 7, so 22.
I got a 12 for the perception.
Nice.
Following Cassie.
Parable does seem to be following Cassie. As Cassie, you spot a much more, kind of similar to your work with the star, you dismantle the fall for what first appears to be mist is actually tiny, tiny, tiny baby will-o-wisps. They're multicolored. They like can't control like whether they're invisible or not. So they're all just kind of lighting up at different times. And with Cassie so familiar with looking at the blinking of stars, you can kind of tell the infantile nature of these baby wisps that are just kind of dancing in these oddly rhythmic patterns. You can tell with that perception check. There's something interesting about how they're moving. There's definitely a pattern there.
The mists, they're dancing. I think they're alive.
They're dancing. They're colored. I wouldn't call it alive. Are you seeing things? We've all been seeing
look
things.
Closer, Parable.
I see mist. I see a little bit of a rainbow, but we're heading towards the base of a rainbow.
I think the mist is wisps.
I think we need to get somewhere quick. I think we're all losing our minds.
I'm sorry. I need to interrupt. What mists are you talking about? There's only forest ahead. As you see Lemillion kind of chopping along at another corner of the pathway, he is somehow unconsciously veered away and around the waterfall.
Oh, he's losing it.
You can give me an Arcana check if you want to know more about that. Remind me of what that history check.
22.
You are reminded of the time, it's fuzzy. You're starting to realize that as you get closer and closer, there are these little bits and holes in your memory about what should seem clear. Like, you went through the waterfall somehow. You went somehow past it. It's getting fuzzy, but you remember having such a fun time within the caverns behind the falls, the domain that is whispered of in all of your, not even legends at this point, because it's within living memory for many of your older folk in your domain, that this domain was nearby enough and natural, a wonder in this world. However, you recall that there's a passphrase that you have since forgotten. But it is one that I think is kind of embedded in your community's culture. And I think as Cassie says that they are dancing, there might just be more to what Cassie is saying about the exact dancing nature. And you also remember being, as a child, greeted by someone as soon as you tried to enter this domain. It's all super fuzzy. There seemed to be a guardian that you recall that you can't get specifics of, and there seemed to be a way in, quote unquote, that you again can't quite recall specifics of.
Yeah, I think Zin is maybe like lagging behind the group or kind of just going a little slower, kind of absorbing her surroundings, and would say, yeah, I don't really know where Lemillion is going. Maybe he knows how to get through. The last time I was here, when you have a memory and it's not laid out. There's no steps, or when you forget how to play a game, but you know how the game made you feel. That's how
yes, like when you wake up with a terrible splitting hangover in the middle of the forest and you're not quite sure if you're alive and somebody, like that.
You're a brute.
Yeah, that doesn't feel as generic as I think you think it is. But
like the whisper of a memory.
What are you thinking? Do you see anything that did your people come here often? Have you been here more?
No, I don't think it's frequent often. I do know that this domain is natural. So I would assume people would stop by when they need protection from wish magic, but I think there's a passcode. This is also, 10, 11 years ago.
Like a secret phrase?
I think so.
Do you think we enter at the top of the falls or at the bottom of the falls?
My friend Esther, when we were here, she was really into lights, and she had this really, really impressive light cantrip, and she was kind of like messing around, and it was kind of flashing in my eye. I don't remember. I do remember there being a person we had to talk to. Maybe there was a passphrase, something dancing, something. I don't know.
I think with that history check, you're reminded of the nursery rhyme. The nursery rhyme-like poem that was spoken. The wizards 3 fell off the tree, 1 by 2 by 3. That nursery rhyme, the wizards 3, that you recalled earlier upon your meeting with Mojo, and how that seems to hold a core part in your community's culture. And you realize that it's not necessarily about the words, especially as Cassie points out anything about the wisps.
There's 3 of us. I think the key is how many of us there are.
How do you do that?
How do I do what?
How do you preempt me like that? Have I given any foreshadowing?
No, it just clicked. It clicked.
Okay.
You hinted enough that I was like, oh, that it is.
So yes. With the, I think
you're like the stream of consciousness in my brain, and then it's
yes,
like I now remember.
So I love this because you're clicking on it like in the way that I've described, that like you remember entering with your friends Igor and Esther, and it was you 3 that were able to enter. And I think with that in mind, as you're considering it, Cassie points out the pattern of these wisps. Suddenly you can hear the subtle song that is present upon the rushing of the waterfall as the wisps enter and kind of zip behind the waters of the fall. They make a sound upon entry, quote unquote, into the falls. And more than 3 people, I think, with your checks combined, you guys figure out together, they make a certain note together, and I'll ask for either a performance check or an insight check to know exactly why it works, but it does seem 3 wisps enter at a time in the pattern, and there's a certain sound that is played by each of them. Not always the same sound, but they all sound nice together.
I think while Zin was thinking Parable would definitely be looking up at the mist and the colors and say, Cass, do you remember what you did with that cloud?
When I shone like the sun?
It is getting dark for us, right?
It is getting dark for you guys. Nighttime is coming.
I don't want to draw attention to us, but is there any way that you could cast that subtly, but also brightly?
I could cast light instead.
That'd be perfect.
How do we feel about this? Using the light instead of flames.
Well, her light is different than those.
Well, I could burn the flames, or I could burn the water. There would be a waterfall left after I was done with it.
Okay, so your input is noted, and I will categorize that. But I think right now we're going to try this thing, and I'll let you know if we need the fire thing.
That's fair.
Okay.
I honestly like Cass. I like her.
Yeah, she's great, honestly.
That tea, it hits. Even if you're just destroying it.
We should do tea in the morning, I think, more.
Did someone say tea?
Oh,
I have tea.
Anyway,
We can
sorry.
stop for tea, but I do think maybe we should keep moving.
Yeah, I think we should too.
Tea
You
sounds
could-
great.
Oh, when we get inside this
Tea.
thing?
First inside, then tea.
Sorry, I don't mean to be a pain. Volano from the giant spider. What are you all talking about?
We have to get in this thing. There's a thing behind the waterfall, and we're just trying to figure out how to do that.
Okay.
Do you have any insight?
What I see before me is a kind of large gorge that ends at a point that if I were to continue walking straight ahead, I would probably fall between the 2 shiftings of the rock and hurt myself. So I'm inclined to go, shouldn't we turn that way?
That
So we
sounds
don't-
exactly what we should walk towards, just to check it out.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it make sense to hide an entrance somewhere that looked a little dangerous?
I mean, it looks like I could fall to my...
Well, let's go find out.
The spider climbs up the side of a tree and Volano says, I forgot.
Horse, magical
Yes,
horse.
magical
It is
horse.
a magical horse. Horses climb. Horses can climb.
Horse that can climb. As
Whoa.
he says, okay, I guess you convince Volano to go in a direction that he doesn't seem to see
Yeah.
Yeah.
what seems to be for him illusory aspect of the environment ahead of him.
So I think maybe that the falls only appear to people that they want to. It's kind of what I don't think this guy knows that there's a waterfall right there. And I don't think Lemillion knows either because he kind of walked away the other way.
He kind of
Well,
stomps over. He stomps over. He says, "Fools! I almost fell down that myself until I saw it at the last moment, and I turned away like a wise man should. Follow me, so that we can find this supposed waterfall that doesn't exist."
The temptation to cut you loose is so strong, good sir.
We're doing it for Dapple. We are doing it for Dapple at this point. So I think, Lemillion, could you go ahead, maybe stay in earshot, and just try to see if there's a different entrance somewhere else? And we're gonna try our thing.
Yeah, stay within earshot.
Please stay close. I don't want to have to be coming after you. And honestly, what I'd like you to do is just walk over there and use your eyes, not your hands, your eyes to look for things closely.
Okay.
But don't touch.
Don't touch.
All right.
No touching.
No touching.
No touch.
I'll stand guard, and if the monster comes, I will. You're gonna
Perfect.
go down into the gorge.
Yes, maybe. We'll see. We'll let you know.
You
Okay.
come find us in 10 minutes.
Okay. I'll keep an eye out, and I will come find you in 10 minutes.
Perfect.
You're so wonderful. Thank you
Fine.
so much for all of your help. I feel so safe because you are here.
Walking backwards.
I really feel cowed by that whole interaction. I feel like normally I'm a little bit more. He continues to talk to himself about like, what did I do wrong there? How did I?
These
I'm
woods,
a-
man,
I'm the
look at
lookout. I'm the lookout all of a sudden.
He's not used
Fine.
to sassy women and little guys.
We just trust you to be by yourself more than all of us.
Okay, so with Esther was doing her cool light things last time we were
Okay.
here. There's 3 of us, which there were
Yes.
3 of us before. So, okay, check.
Cassie also rolled a 19 insight.
Cassie also
Check,
rolled
check,
a 19
check.
insight. I rolled a 9 insight. So,
Parable has divine sense active.
Boom.
which means
I can also shine a light.
Well, you guys are glowing for me, I think. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and so is this whole domain, I would say.
Yeah, I think everything's lit up, right? Yeah.
Ooh.
This is extra weird as Lemillion and Volano can't see this for you because it's blazing.
I wonder if that would give you clues.
I like to think of divine sense as like a meditational thing you fall in and out of. So I think it kind of faded. No, it didn't go away, but it faded for a little bit. And as I realized I was still kind of channeling that, it kind of bloomed everything as if turning up the vibrance on a photo.
Cool.
And I look around and I'm like, I don't think we need more light, but if Esther was doing more light, Papaya, cover your eyes.
All 8 of them.
And the wisps, they're going around, and do you hear that sound? That note? It almost sounds like a song, but not like a melody. Like when they all play at once, and it just feels really good, like, yeah, they just hit a different level.
Oh.
And I think Zin is going to cast Thaumaturgy and try to phantom sound the same sound that the wisps are making.
Cool.
So cool.
As you do, just roll performance checks for like whether your characters are musically inclined enough to know what this note is as it plays out.
12.
Oh my God. 6.
12.
Awesome. 12 is enough to like know theory enough that what Zin plays, and if you're playing the continued part of the song of like making several notes along with the thaumaturgy, are perfect either minor or major triads, 3 notes to make a chord. It takes at least 3 wisps and they make a perfect one. So the space between and the interval between the sound is enough to harmonize amongst it to make the chord. Right? That's how it works. My brother's a much more talented musician. So but it's all about intervals.
That's right on. I'm very proud.
Thank you. But it is a perfect triad chord every time, regardless of whether it goes up or down. It's very welcoming as it's an open tone. And as you cast it with thaumaturgy, there's this odd ephemeralness that the waterfall takes on, and it starts to fall even more slowly. And you see that part of the illusion wasn't even dispelled for you. This water is moving and creeping at an insanely slow rate, but it does seem to have become much more spectral to you, and enough that you would assume that it is possible to transition through.
Okay, so that did something. Are you seeing this?
It fades after a moment of just waiting to see what happens, but it opens up for long enough.
I definitely heard something. I'm not sure if I saw anything.
Well, I made the sound.
Did you hear that? I think there's wisps about.
Wait,
10
we're
minutes,
still.
Lemillion.
Lemillion.
If you see any wisps at all, don't forget. People might tell you that they're trying to be domesticated these days, but it's true that they'll still lead you to their death, even if they're not as bad as those willow wishes.
Lemillion, I have an idea, actually, if you would be willing to help me.
I'm on the lookout. I can't do 2 things at once.
So, I feel like you did a really good job looking out, and now I need help with something else.
Okay, what can I help with?
Can you sing this note for me? No, a little higher. Gorgeous. Okay, I need you to hit that. Parable?
Yeah.
Close enough. Cassie? Do you know me? No. I don't. Zin does not know Cassie. Okay, so I want them like, okay, and on 3. 1, 2, 3. Zin, that was beautiful, by the way. So jazzy. As Maya. That's Maya. Hello. Zin looks over at the waterfall and wants to see if by making them sing, if that made it slow as well.
It also works.
Okay. Even with Lemillion?
Yeah, Lemillion says, wait, what?
Did you see that?
Well, I see that there's kind of, it's really confusing. It's like I see the motion of a waterfall, but it's very trippy. He's like tripping out.
Yes.
He's seen bits and pieces. So it's like a little bit of the motion, a little bit of the color. So he describes bits and pieces of basically the illusion breaking through just a little bit for him, but it's hard to like put for the eyes and the sensory experience, put it all together. I think I see rushing water.
Yes. So with a perception check, would I be able, or maybe my passive would know this, if there's, is there a gap between like us and like getting to the waterfall? Do we have to like cross any sort of gap?
There is some standing water. It's not exactly easy footing, but it wouldn't be the most difficult thing. It might take an acrobatics check, in other words.
Gotcha. Okay. I was just seeing if we needed Papaya to potentially help us with a little web moment.
Ooh.
We're not far away. I'm seeing that we're getting closer. Do we want to try to wade that water ourselves, or?
like just the three of us and then see if they can follow? Because I
I-
don't think Papaya can sing. I haven't asked. I could ask. I could get in his brain again.
Okay, I'm ready to climb. I'm ready to ride this horse that can climb down the gorge, down this chasm, whatever.
Okay, so I think the three of us go, and then we can get the three of them in by I can play a note, and maybe get the three of them in.
I also wonder, maybe 3 of us can make the note and all 5 of us plus Papaya could go in together. Maybe?
Oh, you're right. Nuance exists.
Maybe?
Yeah. Zin discovers nuance.
Sorry, nuance to what? The plan?
Plan's gonna have nuance. I'm learning things.
Okay, I've trusted you this far. As you do have Volano's trust into it's hard for him to visually accept what you're about to do.
Okay,
as
Volano,
you
close your
rush
eyes.
into what appears like a jagged stone.
Yeah.
Papaya this way.
I
maybe-
think I do for a moment. I think, I'm like, here, try this, and I look at the falls and I hold it in my mind, and then I give Brick up for a moment and say, just touch this.
Oh, cool. Do you use the witness mode?
Yeah, to try to pass on my experience in that moment, to just, even if he gets a flash of what's going on and his eyes roll back, just to see.
Smart.
Yeah, just to
Awesome.
see. So
Very cool.
even if it doesn't change his vision in the future, we get hopefully like a GPS moment for him.
Awesome. As a homebrew item, we have, of course, given your Oathstone Brick several abilities, all which thematically are just spot on. And I think with Witness, you're able to store the sensory experience. And as you do so and pass it over to Volano, he says, that's rather peaceful, actually. I don't, okay. Just tell me when I'm about to get wet, I guess.
I want
Horse I can climb and going into an invisible waterfall. What a day. Sometimes I look at the sky if that's not too crazy to hear about, but I could talk about it for a while. I'm starting to feel better if anyone wants to hear about my research, actually. Whew.
I won't lie to you, and no. Continuing
Fair
down.
enough. I'm sorry. I'm just in an utterly good mood about not having to dive to my death. I was really trusting you all to a crazy degree, it seems, in my brain now.
I will happily debate you about Starwatch Tower's practices once we're inside the domain.
Sorry, who are you? Who are the Wish Hunters are allies of Starwatch Tower. What are you talking about?
Never mind.
Okay, well, he looks at you for a second. I'm gonna give him a roll.
This is fun.
Do I know you from somewhere?
No.
No matter. Okay, well, like I said, tell me when I'm gonna get wet.
Do we want to see if Papaya will make like a handrail or some sort of?
Yeah, I walk to Papaya and I kind of bow for a second. If there's any way that you could, I'd love a bridge across the water, and I'd love a moment of just staring at each other. Like we
Yes.
still haven't figured that out yet.
Big carapace.
Which eye do you look at?
Which of the many eyes?
What I do is I pick one at a time. I'm still working this out. I mean, we just met, and
That sounds polite.
yeah, I know, and I don't mind like communicating, but sometimes it is terrifying to look at a giant spider. What I do. Hey buddy, we were just talking about you, and I was wondering if you could make us a web bridge.
Okay, show off. Freaking. What are we just welcoming anyone into this group? Akuma says from his shoulder.
Come on.
Papaya, as your otherworldly steed, I will allow the homebrew use of a rechargeable use of the web spell, essentially. And as you shoot it across, I think you do give yourselves more stable footing to make your way into and through the waterfall.
It's not even that wet.
Yeah, and the handrail helps so we won't fall in. It's brilliant. Do you remember your notes? Ready?
Everyone give me a performance check here. Ooh.
11.
That's a 19.
Nat 20.
Yay!
Instead of a high note,
Saved.
parable. Oh.
Cassie is she's hitting all three at once. She's hitting all 3 notes at once. She's doing the chord herself.
Amazing. With
Enjoy
those
that.
performance checks, it is enough for all of you. And I would assume that Volano is kind of protected by your note that you sing.
Mhm.
Lemillion, I would imagine, with his 2, might be kind of strutting forward, and he says, well, if it's not stone and I'm starting to see things, then maybe it's not there, and I will... Lemillion Lodestar doesn't stop or stand for nothing. Isn't afraid of nothing. Charge! As he runs straight ahead, and with his 2, just misses his note. And he will have to just force his way through as he misses the note. But because you are there, I'll give him a +2 to his +1, a +3 total to this con save. Oh, that's an 18. He does save and doesn't gain another level of exhaustion.
Oh, good. So proud of Lemon.
Does my book react at all to the music in any sense?
That is a good question. I think despite Lemillion's Leroy Jenkins style charge forth into the waterfall and through it, with those checks, your performance is beautiful. And the wisps seem to dance around you as, I think, welcomed by the natural feel of that sound. Some of the more adult and larger wisps, not to be confused with little bits of mist at all. They're little bits of glowing multicolored light that zoom around you as you enter through the falls. It is a beautiful display. How does Parable feel about music, I think, is the question.
I think it happens so infrequently, and when he'd hear it, it would be a longing feeling. He's never really made it himself. And I imagine the book almost asking me to kind of open it within the mists, just to a random page. And at first I go to write something, but then I think what I do is I just bend the page very particularly, and I unfold it and hope that something's written.
I first have a question. Zen, have you shared that childhood name of this place, Rainbow's Fate, with your companions?
No, not yet.
Parable, I would ask you whether you think Over the Rainbow or Rainbow's Fate exactly enters your book, but I think it's something along those lines as, give me a check to see if those words stay, but I think they say somewhere over the rainbow if I were to have a piece.
I love that. I think after I fold it down, there's just like a little half arc leading into, like, in the font, just kind of representing the rainbow as it's written underneath the folded page.
Absolutely. The crinkle kind of supporting the arch of the rainbow.
And that's just flat?
Yeah.
That's a 7.
Unfortunately, they don't stay. So I'll give you an advantage here. You have your companions doing this all as a performance together. It's not much of a stretch to say that one of the many companions you have within 5 feet of you would give you the help action. As Lemillion says, "What are you writing there, by the way? Looks interesting."
I don't think Parable often shares anything that's written in the book, but to help myself and aid in the advantage, I think I do say out loud, I'm like, "Oh, over the rainbow." And it fades.
I somehow wanted Lemillion to interject there just to have, like, the really good reason to, like, completely break out of whatever really spiritual essence you had about you in that moment. And he says, I'm a writer myself.
You made me forget what was in the... Slams the book shut, puts it down. I someday will duel you.
Oh boy.
Well, yes, obviously we're gonna kill one another at least at some point.
One another, I will murder you in your
Hopefully
sleep.
Dapple will be nearby to bring us back to life. But yes, I agree. We're definitely at each other's throats.
Gentlemen.
Papaya comes up and just hisses at him.
Oh, well, and you all cross this threshold. Those words don't stay, but is there any other thoughts or feelings as you kind of cross all as a group?
I think just a big sigh, like
just a big sigh.
It seems like one of those things where you don't realize how much pressure it's putting on you until it's taken off.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I love that feeling.
Yeah.
Yes. And Lemillion was definitely starting to not make sense as it has just built up to a point where I'm not even going to roll it. He goes down to 0 in front of you.
Cassie, quick, the healing potions from Dapple. Do you still have them?
I do. We have 2.
Yes. Here,
here's one for Lemillion.
Yes, plug his nose and we'll just
tip it back
and then
and
just
swallow
it. Swallow it. It's like shutting his jaw.
Don't waste it on him. Oh,
It was full. Okay.
I would have too. It's
Dapple
fine.
would be upset if we
I'm
didn't.
just angry.
Okay, I know.
She
When you forget
deserves
lyrics, it's very
a
difficult.
booty call too.
So he has the minor healing potion.
Cool.
What's Volano looking like?
Volano, I think, was exempt, so has just suffered 2d4 of the last 2 hours of travel or so.
I'm sitting at full.
Me too.
So I'm good. Unless, we might take some
I'd
psychic.
imagine.
But
Volano actually stays up. He only had 5 from lay on hands, but takes just 2 damage.
Nice.
As he says, what is even if I had found safety, I would have died?
it's a wild world out there.
There's a lot of dangers, but what we've noticed is there's some places that are less harmful. But if you spend too long out there with, I think it was called wish stress, it breaks you apart from the inside.
Yeah.
So typical of a monk from Starwatch Tower, always losing sight of space for the stars.
Even if that was clever, I don't think you...
I thought it was very clever.
I'm a little bit too pained and hurt to respond right now, but it seems like, do you hate Starwatch? I thought you were wish hunters. I thought you were allied with us.
No. Never mind me.
We don't lose space for the stars. We just...
You've never heard lose sight of the forest for the trees.
No, I totally get I get the spirit of your words, but it doesn't make me feel good about myself. So I'm struggling to make it, to frame it with my point of view.
Well, while you think on that, let me help you. And Zin comes up and does cure wounds on Volano.
Well, that makes me feel better. As you heal Volano, you have Lemillion also coming to with the 10 healing points, and Volano coming up 9. Both of them are alive enough to rest, at least within the safety of this domain. So you guys are all welcome to take a short rest or anything. But Lemillion definitely wakes up spewing more crazy bullshit. As you have passed the threshold, I think the illusion dispels, because he's now a true denizen of the domain as you've committed the passphrase and all of you have gotten through and in. Lemillion's definitely finding his rest. Volano is probably eyeing up Cassie quite a bit at the hostility shown towards Starwatch.
I think Parable would definitely even as he closes the book and looks at Papaya and tries to do lay on hands and realizes that he's like, I can't call on anything else, and realizes his charges and his pool is empty. He is actually going to turn from where we came from and kind of roll a perception check on the way in and what that looks like.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, absolutely. And I would make you guys roll the wish stress, but as you said, all of you guys are at full, right? And so whatever we rolled, you'd probably get back with the short rest.
Yeah.
So I think we'll just forego the wish stress mechanically for now.
I think I just had 8 points, but that was a 12 for perception.
Awesome. With a 12, you definitely see what is behind you, which is Rushing Falls. The cliff does actually drop quite a bit further than you thought. The web was a really smart idea. It was otherwise going to be a rather difficult, surprisingly difficult, given the partial aspects of the illusion. The fall is actually a gorge. It's interesting how the illusion, it wasn't just a big swath of this is now this. It was the level of art that took different pieces of reality and kind of painted over them with different angles and perspectives to give the whole thing, even from this side, a level of misdirection as you're looking at it. It's real artistry in terms of illusory magic, but you do see the trick of the eye for what it is here.
Yeah, I lean over where the webs are and I just look down and I look at the rushing falls and I just take a moment and I turn around and I look at the group and say, are we going to take a break here?
Yeah, I think we could maybe take a quick seat just to rest our bodies and minds. And I hope that I'll remember more. Sorry that I don't. I know I've literally been here before, and it's just, I don't know what's wrong with me.
Maybe I'll come back to you after some rest.
We all have a long past behind us. It's okay to forget things.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. I think I'm just gonna go write some notes. Just, make sure that I remembered everything that just happened.
I'll make you some tea.
Tea.
I'd take some tea.
I'm making everyone tea.
I think I go and sit down in the corner and I start writing in my good book.
As you say corner, I do want to give you guys what is just settled behind just this waterfall, which is an inlet of a cavern, which you can see goes much deeper and kind of bends along the way. So you find just a little bit of ways away from the water, and in the corner, you guys are all able to find your short rest. So we'll get you back up to full, but feel free to take that for any sort of character features and things.
Having just done Cure Wounds on Volano, just kind of doing it out of habit of just this is what I do, and I do the Cure Wounds and I move on. But I think being in this space, as she kind of sits down and really kind of reflects, she is reminded of the first time that she did Cure Wounds, and it was in this cave.
Oh, cool.
The first time that she actually, because she was able to do Cure Wounds, guidance, and mending prior to her promise day. And I think her Cure Wounds, because it was actually the first level spell, it took a while for her to actually get down. but the first time that she was actually able to complete the spell was in this cave,
Awesome.
helping her friends. And I think she kind of just remembers that as just staring at her hands like, wow, like this, just like, wow, this was I just, so crazy that I'd be back here and did cure wounds like it was nothing. I didn't even think about it. Akuma, I've come so far.
I did not like the water last time, and I did not like it this time. But
You were here last time?
Well, you didn't know about it last time.
Were you watching me?
Oh, well, this is not something to talk about, is it?
Akuma.
Right now? You haven't figured that out yet? The flames upon the scimitar that you struck down that monster?
They weren't flames. They weren't flames. It was just a cool...
You've seared the thing to a bone. You think you could have done that with your light cantrip?
Maybe.
It's
I don't
flames.
know. It wasn't flames. It was just a trick of the
It's
light.
always
The
flames.
tentacles had weird scalies on them. Maybe Esther was doing a light cantrip and it lit up my swords.
Sure.
Really?
Yeah.
But
No, that's exactly what happened, because I was trying to convince you that I wasn't following you, and then you totally went with it, and then I was just like, wow, flabbergasted by
Well,
your
I was-
self-denial that really worked in my favor,
yeah,
and suddenly
it was
I'm out of
bad back
myself.
then.
But so, yeah, that
So-
wasn't me, totally not
Wait,
me.
does that mean that you helped me?
Well, I wouldn't. I was hunting you. Wasn't helping you.
Seems like you were helping me, Akuma.
Well-
Because without your help, we wouldn't have gotten past that well monster.
No, I was
And
destroying.
without
I
your
was
help,
destroying the well monster, and that was
Without your
very
help,
satisfying.
I wouldn't have made it to the waterfall and gotten to the domain without your help.
Well, I don't like the water either way.
Did you have to sneak in after us? Did you get really wet?
I just don't really like the wisps are bullies.
The wisps are bullies.
In mass, yeah, a flutter of wisps are bullies. Have you ever dealt with a flutter of wisps?
I have never dealt with a flutter of wisps,
Well,
but
if you get
I
all-
couldn't. I can't even imagine you calling someone a bully, Mr. Destruction. Must destroy everything all the time.
Starting to feel rather small. in this.
I'm sorry. I think it's going to my head because I've been here before, and we were just out in a really scary forest, and now I'm starting to recognize things. I'm sorry. I thank you for your help. But I'm sorry you got wet. That's unpleasant.
Thank you.
But I've come really far. And I think so have you. Oh, Mr. Helper.
I am having a hard time remembering the exact details
It's
beyond this
weird.
cavern,
It's
though.
weird. I remember how I felt. I don't remember really anything else.
And I am a little helper, okay?
You are my little helper.
Sometimes.
You're my smoky little helper.
Don't fucking tell anyone I said that.
Smoky little guy.
I'm your smoky little guy.
Okay. Give me the pinky promise tail. Give it to me. Give me the pinky promise tail. I promise I won't tell anyone. I love you. And Zen Zen leans back on her pack and just so content, just I'm gonna put my feet up, twiddle my thumbs. I've come so far.
Any other moments during this short rest that you guys find your time?
Cassie, when she delivers some tea to Volano, would like to have a few words.
Oh yes, thank you. I'm not sick. What do I need this for?
Just drink it, enjoy it. Is that such a difficult concept to grasp that you could just do things for the sake of doing them instead of for, I don't know, convincing entire communities that they're... It's just tea. Just drink the tea. It tastes good. Look,
So
Zen's drinking it. Parable's drinking
not-
it. I'm drinking it. Look, it's not poison. Just
I don't
drink
mean to
the
read
tea.
between the lines, but do you think that we have an ulterior motive other than educating the people?
Educating the people? The
Yeah.
last time you published a white paper, it was full of lies.
Lies. We speak. I know the sky looks a little different with the naked eye, but we have science
Don't
on our side.
condescend me, please.
I wasn't condescending you. I was explaining from the start. I was
Mansplaining. Look, I'm having a lot of empathy for you, your companions. That shouldn't happen to anyone. It sounds tragic and difficult and horrific. But I can't help but feel Like if you spent more time thinking about how the stars and the sky and the universe impacted the community below your nose, you would have known that this forest, that this place is dangerous. It seems like you came here unprepared for the dangers that you might find. The hunger spirit is big and bad and dangerous. And you were just here in these little blue robes with nothing to protect you but each other. And then you split up. I'm sorry. I'm really trying hard to have empathy for your loss. But I'm staring ignorance in the face when I look at you.
Okay, so I'm going to need some time to formulate some arguments. I hadn't realized that we were stepping into quite such an official style of debate, but...
I'm sorry. You're right. You didn't deserve that.
It seems you've had quite a while to formulate your opinions against me, miss.
It's not against you. It's all of Starwatch Tower. I too study the stars, believe it or not. And what I'm finding is vastly different than what you're finding, what you're sharing.
That doesn't...
And I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt again.
That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't... Wait, just give me a moment. Just give me one moment. He's starting to get really flustered. Give me a insight check as I do some rolls for him on his side. I'm going to give him 3 rolls. He's got to succeed on 2 of them for the revelation that he needs. Succeeds on 1, fails on 1, fails on 2. So does not... It's something's tickling him. Give me an insight roll to see what kind of conundrum he's trying to figure out in his head as you've inspired him to think about it.
It's a dirty 20.
Pretty obviously that he had doubts to begin with. But they seem to be not exactly lined up with your doubts.
Doubts about, like, he agrees? Or he has doubts about what his... Okay.
I think what you're able to...
Let's dance.
Yeah, he's got doubts as he says, no, the information is always accurate that we send out. Accurate to T, I make sure of it.
How do you do that?
I take the data and I verify it with
How?
Formulations and... Well, the observation team sends it, and once I have the data, I verify that their calculations are correct and that the stars... Well, there was... Give me a persuasion check. Oh, I'm going to say with disadvantage here, actually.
11.
With a couple failed rolls on just trying to school himself. He doesn't feel comfortable enough to share what he's trying to keep safe, but you can see that the doubt that he has might be the source of it. He kind of hesitates when he says, well, it's the observations team that gives it to us. He's questioning it now. His data comes from higher ups. And I think you're able to see on his face that he hasn't ever thought more about, I mean, I swear I've done my own personal calculations of my superior's work and the observations team's work, but I mean, yeah, they seem off at some points, but never more than... I mean, they calculate to a margin of 5 digits for their measurements. I can't... my personal equipment, I can't do that. That doesn't make any... I guess I have some... You've inspired me to be thinking right now, and I think I want to be thinking right now, and I'm talking, and I can't be talking and thinking at the same time. You're really stressing me out.
You're right. I'll let you think. I didn't mean to project my frustrations about all of Starwatch Tower onto you, one person. That's not fair of me.
Can I just ask why?
Why what?
I mean, I've heard the political side and your beliefs about what we're doing and why you think that's wrong, but there has to be a reason. There has to be a reason that you're so set against me.
I'm not set against you. I'm set against the withholding of information that could help people live full, vibrant lives. I'm against the spreading of misinformation to keep our community ignorant and in the dark about very real things that exist right above them in the sky. They're told every day not to look up, but why? Why must they look down all the time?
It's dangerous for the untrained. I have to keep my mind a closed lock when I look upon the stars. An absolute steel vault. I lock it in here in my, and it's up here as he taps the sides of his head. It's a steel trap.
So what happens when you meet a similar fate to Lyra's and you're gone and you haven't published accurate findings knowledge dies with you, great. What good does that do? I can't hold you accountable for all of Star Watchtower, but if I don't say anything to you, then I'm never going to say anything to anyone. And I just need you to know that I disagree with almost every single thing that happens at Star Watchtower.
Well, thank you for saving me. Maybe let's call it even, because I feel attacked once more.
No, but you can keep your tea and we'll settle this later.
Well, and he kind of hesitates, and as you're walking away, he says, don't go looking. I guess I shouldn't tell you to don't go looking up, because that's normally what I say when...
Don't go chasing waterfalls.
Oh my God.
Little TLC.
I think he is left relatively speechless as you walk away. He's flustered, and you can tell that he is deep in thought, thinking about all the times that he took a personal calculation and it just so wholeheartedly disagreed that he was like, this telescope's broken, and just never looked again, because that's what you do when you're presented with information that doesn't agree with your worldview and would starkly change it.
Zen gets it. Zen isn't part of this conversation, but she gets it.
You've offered him time to think about that as he takes this short rest to mull some things over. Parable, you're just reading in the corner, you said?
Yeah, I think I'm flipping through the good book. I look at the notes that were tucked in that I'd written myself, a couple that I saved, and I look at the short poem and the to be continued.
I think as you page over these sacred things to you, and you have this settling spider who seems very cozy with you, and the warmth is nice as... But then you also have Lemillion snoring on the other side. Just terrible, as he is floppy hat over face, passed out, flops way too hard against your shoulder as you peruse your very sacred words. Is there any way that you're spending this short rest, Parable?
Yeah, I do think I turn to Brick and say, you've been a good help, bud. And I have him close his eye and switch him to defend. And I draw a small emblem with my pen always kind of glosses itself over, but I temporarily scratch in a little symbol on the side of my pen.
Awesome.
As my emblem. And I think as I'm preparing to go deeper into the depths of wherever we're going to go, I think I'm in a half listening state, listening to the waterfall and still humming my note, I think, and seeing if the water by itself moves at all, not trying to make it, just kind of seeing. Also kind of nodding off a little bit, I think, too.
Awesome. I think you would be relatively tickled to see that from this side, the water responds much more quickly at the sound, and it's just a little bit more control as the water is passing normally on this side as it rushes, truly. That odd slowness from the outside is gone as it's just rushing. You see that as you play a note, it makes this big colorful splash as water splashes out in multicolored light, and it's like playing almost an instrument as you hum just for a moment to yourself. You have this multicolored show lighting up your eyelids as you fall asleep.
Amazing. I think I kind of play with those colors and lean back against Papaya and just kind of little hum and bursts of tones to make the water move, and I put myself to in a nap state.
Awesome. Everyone give me a DC 15 wisdom saving throw to prevent this short rest from becoming a long rest.
Ooh.
To prevent this, what you were hoping to be a short rest from becoming a long rest.
It's a dirty 20.
Is it a certain type of save?
Wisdom save.
Wisdom. Oh, okay. I can do
12.
Scheiße. 11.
Oh, don't look at us like that.
No, but I got a 20. I got a dirty 20.
What if I would have rolled it physically? That's a nat 1. I did not roll it
the dice
physically.
are telling you.
Cassie, you are immune to this, as you are an elf and immune to magical sleep effects. But there's something entrancing about your slumber here, and with the rushing of the waters, time passes quickly. But Parable, something jogs you out of it, and Cassie, you're immune to this, so that you just take your short rest as normal. And I'll offer you both a perception check to understand, just to notice that Zen seems to be a little bit more heavily more heavily under.
16.
12.
More than enough, I think, for both of you just to know that Zin seems not stirring and has fallen into a pretty deep sleep from this short rest, and not enough to notice the source of what happens next. Give me a luck check to see if it heads towards you. Because for Cassie and Parable, who rolled higher enough to see what might be coming, we'll see if you guys have an option to react to it.
Nat 1.
9.
Oh, with a nat 1 and a short rest, Cassie, please.
Oh no!
Please
Just roll back, baby.
Dude, this is maniacal. This is what you do this on purpose.
Okay, so am I having this intrusive vision as a dream?
I think in this case, yes.
Okay, I'm going to roll for my intrusive vision.
These nat ones.
Hey, but we got it out early.
Yep.
You can't use it again.
I rolled a 3, so I perceive another time or place around me until the end of my next turn. During this time, I'm blinded to my actual surroundings.
Oh my gosh.
Are you dreaming?
It's almost like I'm asleep.
You find yourself dancing. So excited for what is around the corner. You've had such a fun time in this cavern, for that's what you know these to be, a cavern that extends. This vision kind of comes with flashes of excitement as whoever this vision came from is so elated with what's around the corner of this cavernous bend. They kind of dance back here just to have the excitement of seeing it all once again, to come upon it, the beauty that lays ahead. And as you walk and step in this vision, you look up and you see glowing crystal with tiny wisps that flitter in and out as if like unconstrained by the material of crystal. They enjoy the swing of the facets of the stone as the wisps kind of like seem to be dancing within the crystals and within and out, and they flitter and refract with light as each becomes a starburst upon passing through the crystal. And at your feet, bioluminescent moss glows with each step as if responsive to your very presence, almost inviting interaction with it. A step upon it is springy and lively and kind of gives you more want to move rather than less. It's not the kind of springy that would make you feel unstable, like, oh, I'm going somewhere. You feel the control of just a light show all about you. And as you round the corner, you see that expand into more larger crystals in a much larger cavern, a stone bridgeway that leads over slowly traveling water, and at tiers of levels at the center of the cavern that glow with sunlight from what seems to be an open, ultimately high at the cavern's roof above, open to the sunlight. And in that vision, that sunlight hits some massive fields of crystals at the top and is like redistributed upon the various hundreds and thousands of pathways along the crystalline systems above. And as in this vision, you look up and see this crystal and even have the kind of anxious thought of, oh, but if one were to fall. Give me a dexterity saving throw.
Ooh,
If you get hurt in your dreams, do you get hurt in your real life?
I bet. 12.
12 is unfortunately not enough to save here.
These visuals are really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. With 12 damage, you wake up. You come awake at the sudden crash of a monstrous amount of crystal that falls from the cavern above.
Cass, what's going on? And like he springs awake, runs over to your side, and if you're still on the ground, he tries to help you up and brushing crystal off of you. I'm like, are you okay? Did that hit you?
Yeah, oh gosh, that was the strangest thing. I lost my bearings there for a second, and I kind of I take Parable's help and get up off the floor.
For a
And
flash, as Parable helps you up, it is a oddly green and furred hand. As the hand helps you up, you see that it leads to green skin and a white mustache and a white beard and glasses. Dressed in leather straps and buckles, a leprechaun helps you to your feet, as Parable does in real life. It's a flash, and it's a leprechaun, I think, based on appearance to you and what you might have heard in folklore. I don't think leprechauns are exactly a common thing to you, but it's pretty distinct as Cassie feels that flash of Parable being intermixed with this other being.
Cassie kind of squints her eyes and like reaches a hand out to just like tap Parable's shoulder to make sure that it feels like Parable and not furry or like the leather on this flash of a creature's like clothing.
Did that crystal hit you in the head? Here, come sit down. Sit down.
It might have. I feel like it's lingering from this vision that entranced me. I must just have a head injury or something.
What did you see?
I saw, and Cassie looks up to just kind of verify that the crystals she saw in her vision are really there in real life. So they really crashed down in real time.
They did really crash
And
down.
in the vision they crashed down also?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it might
So
have been. I think that might have been
Right.
the intrusive thought part of it. Was that it was like a really nice, pleasant moment until you had the intrusive thought of what if they did, and then you were snapped awake by that. Not you didn't necessarily dream that.
Did I make that happen? Oh my gosh. Okay, so I tell Parable, the light came through this opening in the cave and it hit these crystals and it refracted everywhere. It was almost blinding, like everything, every corner, every nook and cranny of this cave was lit up by one beam of sunlight. It was gorgeous, and then suddenly it all came crashing down.
Do I see any light in the tunnel ahead of us?
No.
Cass, I don't know what you were dreaming, but
And then when you helped me up, you were this creature, this green, furry, silken creature.
I know you don't think very highly of me, but I mean,
No. No, Parable, I think as highly of you as your height allows, maybe higher. And in the best way. I swear something in my brain was projecting a different experience onto this one. It feels almost like a resonant memory, but I've never been here before. It couldn't be mine.
I think I turn to Zin in this moment and I say, I mean, if Cass saw these things, have you seen any light? Have you been this far?
Zin's out.
I don't, would like the trance that I'm kind of under, would I have woken up to sound in the room?
Not to sound.
I just kind of turned expecting Zin to be awake. So I'm like, Zin? Promise?
Oh no.
Doesn't respond.
Something weird is happening here.
Yeah, I'm like, are you? I run over to Zin. And I say, Zin, wake up. Promise, wake up.
Lemillion and Volano also are notably and obviously not moving at the sounds of commotion.
Oh no, Parable. I think we should wake them up before the sleep consumes them. Cassie's still shaking off like a headache and dust in her eyes.
I don't know if this will work this way because I'm assuming it's some arcana or a charm, but I think I lean down to Zin and I use command and I use approach.
Oh, totally. Okay, cool.
And that's would be I think it's a wisdom save. You speak one word of command, a creature you can see within range. The target
Okay,
must
cool.
succeed on a wisdom saving throw to follow the command on its next turn. The target moves towards you for approach. The target moves towards you by the shortest and most direct route ending his turn. I was trying to twist it in a flavor that was like pulling Zin from.
No, yeah, totally. Using that as like the base of your command and imbuing it with your furthered intention. I think, yeah, give me a wisdom save here. Or
I'm
sorry,
kinda loving
is
this.
it a wisdom save?
Yeah, it's a wisdom save of 14, but
Cool.
it's typically a physical movement of approach. But I love how we're doing this.
So I
Cool.
want to fail.
You want to fail to have the successful effect here.
22.
Wow.
Damn.
So is this parable?
The one time these dice on this computer are actually rolling.
I think this is triggering the parable for some reason. He can't tell why, but he's just shaking at you. He's like, "No, wake up! Come back! We need you! Wake up!" And I'm just like putting all that power into that cast.
Let me know if this flavor is too much, but as you're saying with Parable's voice, "Wake up! Wake up!" Part of you cuts back to the Count and his demand and how much he would just get things done, and you say, "Approach." And part of you speaks in just a more resonant way that captures a piece of Zin to the point where something in Zin responds, something innate stirring the sleeping dragon that is Akuma. Actually, from what we've seen of Zin, who knows which and who these flames come from, but either way, flames roar from Zin as truly, whether from Akuma or not, you do hear a voice that matches your own, that just speaks denial, that assumes you to be a threat in this vulnerable state, that blasts you away. And Zin becomes hot to the touch, and literal flames, like hellish rebuke style, start eking out of you. And I won't say damage for Parable, but it's hot enough that it pushes you off.
I love the idea of almost like seeing, like heat, like almost just like a like Parable backing up at least, and like, oh my God, something's happening, Cass. We have to do something.
I'm not rolling damage for that hellish rebuke.
What's hellish rebuke? No more 2d10. Just give me 1d10. And Parable, you can give me a con save here to take half damage.
10.
Oh.
That's a 10.
That won't save against Zin's DC, so that will be 10 damage.
Oh, wow. 10 damage, sir.
Sorry, I'm just a little girl. Just a sleepy.
And I won't make you burn a charge for that, because it's like just this instinctual power that flares out of you. I will say, Parable, as you get the sense that any disruption to her current mental state might work as well. Although it might not spring forth to your mind in the first place to hurt a friend, you can see that the hold that has Zin is tenuous, and something just needs to snap it. Not a lot. It seems like damage might be needed to be done here, and I think you're able to ascertain that from your interaction with Zin's subconscious.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's Zin or something else, but there's something that did not want me to help her, or saw me as something that wasn't. And I think I look deeply at Cass. I'm like, I can't lose either of you. And I think I get down on my knees, and despite the heat of her body and the possible damage, I grab her pinky with my pinky.
Oh.
And I kind of look at Cass expectantly, kind of like, help me.
Cass says, as much as it might hurt us all, those crystals falling were the only thing to break my trance. I wonder if we have to hurt Zin to help Zin right now.
I grab my pen and I poke her.
Oh, holding her pinky, but doing what must be done.
I grab Parable's pinky with my pinky.
Oh,
we're a pinky chain.
We're a pinky chain.
I drop the pen and I just kind of.
Oh yeah, sorry. Maybe you need that hand.
Oh, I know. I drop the pen and I kind of like bob my head and I like almost just water in my eyes.
Just in pen form. Just we'll call that a dagger. So D4 of damage here.
Okay.
Plus your dex.
That's a 5 damage.
5 damage, but Zin, you are awake and broken free of this enchantment.
Hey guys, what's ow? Why'd you do that?
I'm sorry, you weren't waking up, and I had to do something.
Oh my God, your clothes, they're scorched. What happened?
Zin, don't freak out.
That's not a great way to start a sentence. Pinky promise. Pinky promise.
You're right. I should have known.
What happened? Did I hurt you? What happened? Did I hurt you? Did I hurt you? But you're on fire. You're flaming. Why are you burnt?
It's okay. I'm just glad you're awake.
I can't use the fire. I have to use the fire for good. I'm so sorry.
Zin, you're doing great. You did great.
There is something going on. It's not your fault, but there's something going on, and we all need to be as alert as possible. And Parable turns towards the direction of the inner ways of the cave. Mm-hmm. Kind of trying to get all of us to absorb what's going on in a moment here.
Awesome. Instead, give me an intelligence save.
Okay. Really?
Everyone?
No, just Parable as you make your way to investigate further down the tunnel in any way.
Wow. Intelligence?
Mm-hmm.
Save.
Save.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness, that's 10.
What does Parable expect to see?
Possibly a safer space than where we're at.
The stone turns smooth. The walls are lined with books. Of a librarian approaches. Is that? Well, I don't know if you've ever referred to him as such to himself, but I know that Parable often thinks of the librarian as Hush, the man who never speaks. In this moment, he looks at you and he says, Parable, welcome back. We've missed you.
What are you? Wait, where am I? Zin, Cass,
You're
Lemillion?
Desperate times.
They're gone.
Papaya?
They're gone. You do see the rough cavern behind you and the rushing waters, but your friends are gone. And what lay ahead of you is the bookwell. As he says, the Count's been looking for you it's been 10 years, Parable. We've been worried.
You've never spoken to me before. Why would you speak to me now? You could have told me. You could have told me before I fell that I shouldn't have fallen.
The Count bade me never to speak to you, Parable. He told me that you were under enough of a burden as it was than to complicate your life with the problems of an old ex-wishbound. If you were to but return.
Knowledge is a burden we choose ourselves, and you can never take it from anyone. The fact that you held me there and you were part of this, I always thought you were a friend. I thought you were somebody I could talk to. Even if you didn't talk back, I thought you knew what I went through. You were just part of it all.
Not part of it, Parable. I was the reason that you fall. As he suddenly jumps forward towards you and grabs you by the crook of your neck, and instead of you pulling you into the bookwell, he seems to throw you back out and into the cavern, and he says, if you won't return, then I'll end you right here and now. And he grabs you and he pulls you, and you can't seem to stop this as he moves you to further and further towards the gorge behind you. You find yourself tripping on stone until we cut away as Cassie and Zin, you see Parable seeming to argue with thin air, wrestle with himself as he turns to go and look up the cavern, and then is suddenly seemingly like grabbing his own collar and throwing himself back along the cavern stones. That will be 2d10 of damage, by the way, G. Let me double check that on the spell. Oh, just 1d6, actually. That is 5 damage as you are throwing yourself across cavern stones towards the waterfall gorge without knowing it.
I do not like this cave.
Before I give Parable one more intelligence save to stop this himself, I will also obviously give Cassie and Zin a chance to interject as he is throwing himself backwards towards what you saw to be quite the drop.
He's just screaming, "You're just like the Count!" and trying to fight back.
Yeah, I think Zen would just like, Parable, come this, what are you doing? And like move towards him. Definitely. Like, especially if he's getting closer to the edge, I think Zen is definitely going that way to try to bring him back.
Cool. You guys are welcome to go for grapples to like try to like physically restrain him.
Cassie casts levitate on Parable.
Okay, never mind. We can also just solve problems as we need to. Fantastic. What does that look like, Cassie, as Parable is literally doing such brutal damage to himself, throwing himself across the floor?
Yeah, seeing the
jagged
gorge
rock.
getting closer and closer to where Parable is. Levitate is going to make Parable rise vertically up to 20 feet. We obviously won't throw him into the cave ceiling if that's an issue, but he'll remain suspended there for the duration of the spell, as long as he's not more than 500 pounds, which I'm going to make an informed guess and say he's not. Technically, it is a Constitution saving throw.
This is another situation where I guess we'll just hope that you fail.
What's the DC?
Do you want to know?
Not yet. That's 14. What is it to save?
15.
Oh,
That's perfect.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
That's a good thing. Woo!
Yay.
Does that break the visions or am I just thrashing in
It
the
does
air?
not break the
Yeah.
visions.
Yeah.
If anything, it makes them more intense as part of your physical self is starting to line up and correlate with the feeling of falling that you experience as Hush throws you over the waterfall line and you are tumbling with water splashing around you and you're just in your mind waiting to hit. I'll give you another intelligence save.
Awesome. Does any piece of me feel a connection to the reality that I'm actually in?
That is the
Okay.
intelligence save here.
That is a 12.
You can add your investigation if you have any proficiency there.
Yeah, 15 then.
Totally changes the game here as the intelligence check initially you weren't able to truly investigate it. So as you fall, Parable, it doesn't feel like real terror of falling. You've fallen before. You've hit the rockiest of bottoms. And this is not that.
I stare at Hush and I say, you should have stayed quiet and actually dropped me. And I want to say it as loud as I can in the dream and actually out of my mouth if I can, is just drop me. And I'm not above the drop.
No. Cassie has you, of course, safely held.
Yeah, I think I asked Cass to drop. I try to speak through the dream out loud and almost sleep talk and say, drop me.
I think Cassie would bring him down to like 10 feet and then drop him.
Awesome. You go just beneath that threshold and drop Parable. Parable, how do you land as you banish the visions for what they are? Illusions.
Thought I had to take damage from the fall. Okay.
I'm going to say no damage because levitate would put you down gently anyways.
It would, but if I'm trying to, like, I feel like I'm understanding he wants to be jolted.
Yes. And I think you might just be surprised as you might expect the damage, but you land much more fleet-footed than you ever have before facing a fall like that.
I think I fall down and I look around to make sure that Hush isn't anywhere, and I like try to scatter the visions that I had, and but I don't look down the hall again. I said, "Are we here? Is it now?"
We're here. It's now. Are you okay?
I don't know.
You're safe, I think.
You were talking to someone and then you tried to jump off the cliff.
It wasn't a memory. It was something. It was something else. But I don't think we can go down that way without a lot of caution. I don't want to do that again.
Okay. Take some deep breaths. And Zin will place her hand on Parable and cast guidance.
Awesome. Thank you, Zin.
This should help. I can't offer much more. We have to continue forward. I think it's where we need to go, but we'll do it together.
Maybe if we walk backwards.
Yeah, maybe if we walk backwards. You try walking backwards and we'll lead the way.
It's like butt scoot, but standing up.
Like butt scoot, but standing. Yes.
Should we wake Papaya?
I was just
and
about to say.
Lemillion and snoring or speaking?
Snoring.
What do?
Can we just like? I imagine Zen walking over and like kicking Million's boot.
Okay, give me a D4 of damage for everyone for just well, I guess you'd just be doing your strength score of hit damage. Do any of you have a 0 strength score?
Me.
Perfect.
Me.
Perfect.
We are not very beefy.
You guys are just
Women
able
in STEM. Like, yeah.
Yes. So truly one of the best workarounds. You are just able to do that shocking amount of pain that doesn't deal lasting damage, but is damage.
It's like a heel to that really, really sensitive spot on your shin. Like just right, like right
So
there.
should each of us take one of these companions? I got Volano.
Doing strength damage, you're able to just do the 0 damage.
Oh, nice.
With an
Gotcha,
unarmed
gotcha.
strike. So,
Cool.
Lucky that neither of you are monks, but Volano is and says, "That's not even how you hit someone." Oh, geez, that.
Thank you will do.
What do you mean? Thank you. I was having a pleasant dream. What time is it even?
Way, way past the amount of time you needed to sleep. There's something weird about this cave.
What are you? The million lodestar here, and I could. Honestly, I kind of agree with man. I could, whew. Why do I feel
Yeah.
like I could sleep all month?
You're really out. I don't usually like hurting people, but yeah, it kind of felt good.
I mean, I didn't mind it. I
And the
I
truth
mean,
comes
it
out.
wasn't. I didn't try to hit you that hard. I just enough to wake you up. You were sleeping for too long.
Well,
They did it to me earlier. I was under the same.
well, hey now,
There's
don't
something entrancing about
don't
this
zone of
cave.
truth me, Lemillion says, and at that,
I've
give
thought
me
about it.
I was not zoning truth in you.
give me
Oh, no.
a wisdom save here, Zen. Success being a 15.
12.
Something familiar in deja vu feelings about being forced to tell the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Can't place a finger on it. Interesting.
God, this place just gives me the weirdest vibes. Okay, well, now that we're all awake,
Rise and shine, cuties.
I am awake, right? This is
yes,
You're awake. Look.
you're awake.
And I pinch Parable.
Oh, just holding space.
Oh. I pinch his little finger. See? You're awake.
I felt that. I felt that.
Yeah.
I want to keep walking, but when I looked last time, I went someplace else. And
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
All of you seem like you're so stressed out about something. And what's the broken crystal? This is Volano as he's speaking from a bleary-eyed sleep.
I don't think everything we see in this cave is true. We should really try to keep our wits about us as we continue forward.
Cassie's going to cast Detect Evil and Good.
Awesome. Tell me what that looks like for Cassie.
I think it would look like her facing the tunnel, the place we've identified as potentially dangerous to look down, and closing her eyes and trying to focus in the way that she has to stare sometimes into the telescope to really like measure a star or define the edges of something so far away in space that you just stare unblinking, except her eyes are closed. She's just really trying to feel down the hallway and channel such quiet like in her lab.
Give me a perception check with advantage here.
It's 2 nat 1s.
No.
Oh my god.
She already got the visions though, so you can't do it to her again.
Of what?
I-
How does that
think-
happen?
I
What
think-
the fuck?
I think in this
This
case,
cursed night.
Yeah.
that's so wild to me.
Yeah.
No, it's wild to me for an extra reason.
Oh, fuck.
Even that. Wow, what to do with 2 nat 1s? I think
Let's back it up.
going home.
Session over.
Yeah. No, you do.
Happy New Year.
I think it does actually help you hear, at least in the obviousness of this, because although you're unable to identify it, as you use your Detect Evil and Good spell, falling into that same translate state that you always use to observe the universe, just a little bit closer this time, you notice that something is off. There is, like a chameleon, a humanoid figure, kind of always where you're looking in the tunnel, hiding from amongst the ridges and the crystals. And maybe you've been suspecting at this point that these tunnels have been affecting you up until this point, the tunnels themselves. But you see very clearly, you're just unable to fully identify this little flitting humanoid small creature that is within your literal tunnel vision right now.
I can't place it, but I swear we're not alone in here. I don't think it's a wisp. But I just have this eerie feeling that there's more here than what we can see.
And I don't see anything with divine sense.
Give me a perception check with advantage.
How long does Divine Sense last?
I was gonna
10
ask.
minutes
Okay. Yes, short rest. You'd have to activate it again though.
to give myself the advantage here. I'm going to reach down, grab one of the crystals that I see on the ground, and I'm going to use mending to put it together like a mirror. And I'm going to look through a mirror instead of looking down the tunnel.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
totally. Perception with advantage for sure.
Clever.
It's a 21.
A 21
Nice.
is the number exactly to meet the stealth check
Oh
of this
my
thing.
God.
And it's like a mirror around a corner as you find just the perfect angle to see this thing that is watching you so obviously, keenly, and you can see its hands moving every once in a while, and they are kind of manipulating always the stone and the crystal around you. You can see in the way that it moves that it move in a way to passing a hand over the crystal that wouldn't be strong enough for a handhold until it bolsters it with its magic, grabs that, and then moves. And it's just an acrobatic, almost gremlin-like movement from a very whimsical green, white mustached and goggled creature who, now that you see him up close, has a mushroom-topped head. But he does wear leather buckles for suspenders and shoes as he zips all around the tunnel ahead, watching you from the stonework.
Cass, Zen,
What?
there's definitely somebody watching us.
Oh, God.
Everyone hold still. How far away is he in my vision?
At times he comes as near as 10 feet close, but most of the time he's 30 to 50 feet down the tunnel that you, as you kind of round the bend, you see extends a little bit further and has a glow at the very end of it.
Do I get a sense that I could cast a spell on him?
Oh yeah, you've spotted him, so for sure. You've
Yeah.
broken his stealth check unbeknownst to him.
I think just using the echo of the cavern, I kind of speak into the reflection without moving to catch him off guard, and I just cast halt, command halt.
This works so much better than you think it would. Like, maybe is parable depending on like the natural reverberation of the cavern?
Yeah, I think it's like I almost say it into the ground, and I think I say, freeze, you little green me.
As you say that, with this fully mended crystal in your hand, it acts like a microphone, picking you up, and your voice truly reverberates throughout the entire tunnel from every full crystalline node. Although small, they do reverberate with enough force to give you all quite a headache. As what's the save here?
Wisdom save 14.
We'll see. Yeah, I'll give it disadvantage. Ooh, with a natural 20 on one and an 18 on another. What was your wording exactly?
Freeze, you little green me.
Give me a performance check.
That's a 15.
Okay. It freezes and looks at you, and for a moment it becomes visible to you all as Lemillion says, "What the hell is that?" And Villano says, "By my stars." And you all see this thing, and it says, "Is this a game of red light, green light?"
Yes.
Shoot.
Green light.
Oh, I don't know if I have the time. Oh, okay, we'll see.
I say it into the crystal, though.
With a 6 on the die. We're going to do a little pause in time. Everyone give me
I am turned away from him, too, so it's...
Everyone give me a history check here, just in terms of dealing with the folklore of leprechauns and what your character might know about them.
17, and Cassie would shout something like, "You little cabbage, that's what I saw in my vision."
I got a dirty 20 of history.
17.
Awesome. Okay. Totally all enough to know that leprechauns are manifestations of the Feywild themselves. They are the epitome of hospitality, as the Feywild runs by the rules of hospitality. Up until this point, at no juncture did this little furry green creature do you intentional harm. Something fell upon you, visions took you over, and you were hurt. It has not hurt you because it has refused and avoided and tried to get around the rules of hospitality, as you have now all caught it within the rules of hospitality. Well, me, good old Callum, Scotty Lachlan, Scotty for short, can't refuse a game. Let's play, buddy. And Scotty, the leprechaun, seems to be trapped as his mood suddenly shifts, and having offered him a game, is charmed for the next 24 hours. Well charmed in this way, the leprechaun partakes of the offering, treats the creature as a trusted friend, and seeks to defend it from harm. The charm condition ends if the creature or any of its allies damage the leprechaun. force the leprechaun to make a saving throw or steal from the leprechaun.
I think Parable on the history, remembering like, okay, I'm not sure if you guys had this when you were younger, but I'm pretty sure as long as we make him play a game, and
He has to help us.
he has to help us. I think I have an idea. And this is a special game of red light, green light. We have to, the finish line is when we find what we're looking for.
Oh, Trixie, I like it. What are we looking for?
Has anything fallen into your home recently?
Oh, he gets very serious at this. Well,
I use Zone of Truth.
you wouldn't have to do that, but we are trusted friends. Star, do you want to come out? One of the most brilliantly glowing crystals from the cavern above starts to descend. Cassie, this might be a moment for you, as it is the spitting image of your mother in starry form, as what descends is like a patchwork of the cosmos itself with a cloak wrapped around it as it nears and drops to the floor. You can see it's a very delicate feminine figure as it gets closer. Give me a investigation, perception, or even a history check here.
There we go.
Yeah.
24.
Yeah.
Perception.
Beautiful. With a 24 perception check. It's not just the spitting image of your mother, it's to a T. This looks like Soraya Sarian, the astral elf that you knew to be your mother. However, she remains in starry form as she drops. But in terms of shape, characteristic, facial structure, it's to a T. Your eyes are not deceiving you to that point. As she descends, she says, Scotty, I didn't think you'd tell anyone that I was here. Star, these are our trusted friends. I mean, these are our good friends. We're playing a game. Wouldn't you like to play with us? Oh, he said this would happen.
Who?
Well, Scotty, he said this would happen. He said that if you all found him, you'd trick him into a silly game. And
I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude. Who are you?
well,
What are you?
I don't exactly have a name, or I'm not exactly sure what I am, but well, Scotty calls me Star, and I don't really like it because I think it's kind of on the nose, which she has like a little pinprick of a star on her nose, as she says, and it's kind of on the nose and it twinkles. And she pulls the cloak around her much more closely.
Cass, do you recognize this?
As she pulls the cloak over herself, she no longer really fully resembles your mother. It's really hard to see detail, but for a moment, as she was uncovered and falling, spot on, exact to a T, a spitting image of your mother.
Cassie shakes her head again and squeezes her eyes shut like she's done several times since being in the cave, and just kind of to answer Parable's question, very hushed, says, Parable, I swear that was my mother for a second.
You come from the stars?
I do. I guess I do. I guess I do.
Should we tell her?
No, it doesn't. It just as quickly as she looked like my mother, I feel like she pulled her hood up and now she doesn't. It's this cave. I'm sorry. Ignore me. It must be this cave. I'm losing it. I'm losing my mind.
We're all losing it a little bit.
You've lost something. That's why you're here.
I'm sorry. You just look so familiar. Oh, forgive me. Ignore me.
I had a quick question, if I could just sneak in there. You mentioned something that Scotty knew we would be here, and he knew that we would.
Oh, well, I've been watching you ever since you entered the forest.
A lot of people watching me do things recently. I just.
Well, I mean,
has anyone heard of consent around here?
Celestial voyeurism.
Yeah.
all of you are tied to quite the powers. So, I mean, when you're the leader of a domain, you kind of feel what is affected. And even though I can't extend the anti-wish effect all the way across the Snarn Valley, you better best be sure that I'm paying attention to it.
Yeah, and we really do appreciate you protecting this domain. I mean, we probably wouldn't have survived without it, and I wouldn't have survived without it when I was here years ago.
What? Oh, is that?
It's just a
Give
vibe.
me-
I
give
don't
me
know.
a-
I don't remember anything.
Give me a. What do we do for this?
Love this.
I'll ask you if you want it to be persuasion or history. No, just persuasion.
Yeah, it would
Just
be persuasion.
As I think for him, I'll give him a history check here. Ooh.
Nat 1.
Oh, with a nat 1 on his side too.
Modified to a 4? What are you modified to?
Modified to a 5.
Damn it.
Oh. Wait, I gave Zin guidance.
I have Zaya guidance.
You have guidance.
Okay, so that's a D4.
Mm-hmm.
6 total.
Awesome. Definitely enough to beat it. He changes his face and he says, "Oh, well, you were one of the nice ones."
I've always strived to be nice.
Like so nice.
As
That
nice
is
as
so
I
nice.
can. I think I've done a really good job. Except never mind.
Oh, you probably don't remember how it ended.
I haven't been able to remember much. It comes in flashes. It's mostly just a feeling.
Well, you were one of the nice ones, but like I said, you were the last for a reason. And don't get me wrong, you were great, and your friends were great, but your dad was something else.
My father was here.
You don't remember what he did to you?
Not here.
Is this something that I want to know? Should I sit down? Do I need a drink of water? What's going on?
Akuma says, "She's not ready."
What do you mean I'm not ready? What do you mean I'm not ready?
Oh.
Well, I've been holding this one in a little corner. It's not.
You've been lying to me again?
No, it's not. I'm not lying. I'm holding it back. It's something that
Lying through omission
it
is
hurts,
still a lie.
Zin.
Withholding the truth doesn't help anybody.
Our pact says nothing about lying, only that we will change the world.
Knowledge is a burden we choose, and no one has the right to hold it from anyone.
Friendship mic drop. Yeah.
You said it hurts. What do you mean I'm not ready? It's been 10 years. What happened here, Akuma?
I fear you will crave destruction more than I after this. And he lets go of this memory that he has been containing. One where you, again, cannot recall the full detail, but it is one of revelry. A time you felt more free than you ever possibly could. A time that you celebrated with your friends to the full extent of your soul. You laughed, you cried, and Scotty was the most gracious of hosts. He met you upon the doorstep of the waterfall. He told you about the wisps. He trusted you all, seeing you to be the good-hearted people that you were. And it was the last time that he trusted people. Because what happened next was your father, led by Erisvara, it seemed. You catch at least flashes of his faces that he was there. And several initiates of a burgundy red, a type of robe that you see matches the cut of your clan, cut of your community, but not the color. You see your father wave his hand, and Scotty apologizes to you so quickly and moves to hide. And like you see a cloud and crowd of wisps above you that he moves to usher to escape as the domain has been invaded. The Star Callers have come. As your father waged war against the crystal and the stone of this cavern, seeking to find his daughter. And he did, and suddenly as his hand collapses towards your face, you feel him grab your hair right where your horns ended up, the one that always itches. He says, "Zin," and there you flash back.
I think Zin has crumpled to the floor and is just like rocking back and forth, like just trying to soothe herself. Like, I'd be like, pinky, pinky, promise, and just like just scratching at her partial horn and just like ripping at, just almost like hitting the side of her head, just like freaking out. She's freaking out.
I told you it's not good. I think she could use you both.
It was me. It was me. It was me. And I think she's like starting to like smolder a little bit. Like, it was me. It was me. It was me.
Okay,
Zin.
maybe not help. Maybe run, actually.
Zin.
Parable is going to say, red light. He's going to pick up one of the...
Scotty freezes. Oh.
I'm going to pick up a stick and
It's a
hand
very audible ope.
I want to get down right in front of Zin, and I want to snap the stick or crystal if I have to in front of her loudly, in front of her face. And then I want to mend it back together and I want to hand it to her.
Oh, yeah. Zin would, I think, just kind of be confused and take it. And then just stare at it again and just break it and mend it back together and break it and mend it and break it and mend it. Still rocking back and forth, breaking and mending. And would look up at Scotty and say, I didn't know he would come. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. If I would have known, I would have never come here. I would never have put a stain on this domain. I would have never brought that to you. I'm so sorry. Can you forgive me? And can I help? How can I help? How can I help? How can I help? Just
Green light.
Oh, jeez.
Unfreezes finally. And he says, actually, give me a persuasion check with advantage here. I think you have him in this charm state, so this is more to get him get through to his real self.
18.
More than enough, I think, for him to act so in the way of the charming, like all hostility drops. You see him let down his guard, which allows him to act a little bit outside of the conditions of the spell, because the spell's not, charming him in such a specific way as to act exactly, because it's in line with what he wants to do. As he looks at you and he says, you were just a kid. That's okay. It happens. He looks sad, but he says, it's okay. And Star Star, as we know her, goes to pat Scotty on the shoulder.
Yeah, Zin would like take a deep breath, like, but then would remember and continue and say, I was young and I obviously didn't know what I know now. And if I did, I would make a different decision. And because of that, I need to tell you that you might be in danger again. I did see Aris in the woods. He had mentioned searching for the waterfall. He had mentioned trying to get the information from Dapple. He did not seem like he was coming with kindness. I did my best to divert him for now, but I need to tell you that you might be in danger again. I can't speak for my friends, but I'm speaking for Zin and my familiar Akuma. He's great. Akuma. We'll do anything to help you.
Akuma was raging at a certain point as much as Zin and seems to calm at the same time as you do. And he, at your words, seems just a little bit more animalistic as he goes to say something, it seems, and flame spews from his mouth and he kind of shrinks back. He seems to be like over ignited by your emotion and the destruction that he's feeling within you.
Yeah.
And he is unable to respond, but you see him like fully siding with you in this moment, but unable to verbalize that, essentially.
Things are just like, I got you, buddy. Don't worry. I got us. We'll unpack this later. I'm being really brave right now.
You are being very brave, and Star, I must ask you to be brave as well. I hate that name again, so on the nose. And I'm afraid I must ask you to use it one more time, that twinkling nose. And again, Star looks so cringy at this, but Scotty says, Star, I must ask you to wish upon yourself once more. For the good of the domain, Star.
Parable's eyes freeze open and burns holes into Scotty.
I think as you see Star immediately acquiesce to the request, I don't know if you could turn away as the incredible moving patchwork of sky becomes slowly like clouds drifting over a vision of the world. A view of outside the cavern as Scotty says, "Just tell me where he is, Star." And Star says, "I wish to know the location of Arisvara." And the star that sits prominently upon her face and upon between her brow and nose glows as she transitions to a scried vision of where Arisvara is. And you see him humming to himself. Water splashes at his feet. The wisps have hidden. You notice now this odd overlaid vision where the scrying kind of shows you the illusion that is the waterfall. And you see that he is literally kind of pacing in the opening area, unable to ascertain the illusion, but somehow having detected this as the source. He's very clearly investigating as he paces back and forth. And Star says, "I think he's closer than you thought."
Almost ignoring the vision. Did we see that as well, or did?
Yeah, she fully like scries upon herself to show Scotty.
Through gritted teeth, almost ignoring the information, Parable draws his blade, sticks it to Scotty's throat, and says, "You're in the zone of truth. Tell me, how many times have you done that before?" Red light.
What? He stops. Can I talk in red light? I'm not sure the rules
Yellow
of the game.
light, you can talk. Yellow light.
Yellow light, talk, but don't move. Okay.
How many times have you made her wish?
To my shame, she has lost 137 stars. And you notice that one of the stars that is placed in the patchwork of star skin streaks across the sky of her body as she comes back to herself, never to be seen again. She is still a patchwork of pinpricks of light, but you are noticing now as you see upon her these odd, as if like plucked hairs from a beard, these odd patches that just lack something.
Is he holding you here?
He is here, silly.
Star, is he holding you here?
No, I mean, it's really hard to explain, but he is here. He is here. Like, I am up there. And she looks sad to herself. But he gets to be where he should be.
I turn back to Scotty. Have you kept Star here?
Honestly, no. I can't keep anyone here. Not against their. I can keep people out with the laws of hospitality, but only wishborn creatures. If you know the passphrase, then even wishborn creatures, if they truly were, if they were clever enough, they could get past the domain's walls. I can't even keep people out half the time. That's the problem. I can't protect her.
I'll tell you one more thing. If you wish one more time on her, I'll gut you where you stand.
Oh, don't. He means well.
Not well enough.
Honestly, I don't mind.
Just stare him down.
Honestly, I don't mind. I would, for the good of all. It's a whole domain of. Honestly, we've been continuing to lose ground. I was wishing for more area of the anti-wish effect, but it was taking too much out of me. Give me a perception check here.
That is a 14.
She's holding one arm wrapped in more sleeve than the other, and you see that the sleeve is sewn at the end to be closed off. You never saw her left hand. You might assume that she has much fewer stars to a noticeable degree upon that hand. She grabs it at the thought of how much she went through to try to hold just a little more ground against the terrors of the powers that rage outside these domain walls.
Parable, I think she's making sacrifices to keep this place alive.
I think I know that. And I grab Scotty's hand and I put it against the wall and say, if she lost a hand, you're going to lose a hand. And I raise my blade.
Parable. No. We can't. You can't. I won't let you.
I'm trying to decide if this is going to be an opposed strength check.
If you want to start initiative here to fight with Scotty, I'm super down. If you're trying to keep this to like, I'm intimidatingly wanting you to, you let me know.
I think it is intimidation, and I think I fall. And I sheath the pen blade.
I've brought enough destruction here. We can't add more.
He's charmed by you and in a zone of truth, so intimidation is just almost unnecessary as he moves to like acquiesce to your anger. He says, no, remember, we're friends. It's okay. We're just playing a game right now.
I am no friend of someone who holds someone else wish accountable. We are playing a game, and you are mine for now, but you are not a friend.
As you say, you are not a friend, and Star keeps saying that, no, you don't get it, that he is here. He says, no, but I am the roof over your head and where you lay down to sleep tonight. As the crystals, with his voice, him not speaking anywhere near it, reverberate with his authority. I may not be your friend, but I am a place that has harbored many good people. It only took one bad one to end it. I would ask you, would you be the one to end it? For there's no other lord or lady or deity that would remember the people of these lands. But I remember. I stand for this domain. Callum, Scotty, Lachlan.
On the earthquake that happens beneath Parable's feet, he's going to pocket this as something that he might still act on, but he's gonna turn after the visions and look to Zin and Cass and look at Papaya and say, Papaya, you got any more webs in you?
Oh, another game. Nice.
Can I have on the turn to react to the information that Star gave us and have Papaya web up the front entrance?
Ooh, as Scotty, of course, assumes you to be webbing him up. He says, totally fair, I get it. You move to web up the entrance. Give me a roll on a d6 here. Recharge of a 5 or 6 will reset it. Oh, I guess the short rest might reset it as well. So, yes, you are able to web up. And as Scotty says, oh, another game, expecting you to web him up, and the webs fly past him, webbing up the front of the cavern. He says, oh, well, maybe we could hold this place. I shouldn't count all my bets lost just because I had a bad experience one time. And he looks towards Zin.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And anything I can do. I mean, I'll fight the guy. I'll do it right now. I'll do it right now. She turns around and starts like, wait a second.
Oh, I think he might be in trouble. As Star returns to the scrying form, still having cast the spell, and she's been observing this whole time. She gives you all the open vision of it once more, and you see Arisvara being attacked by golden replicas of Brutus and Titus. Zin, you know these to be his men. Cassie and Parable know them just to be similarly dressed as Aris and being aggressive enough to consider them enemies.
Should we eat?
More tea, anyone? Start
Watch the TV.
And you guys want to have just two truths and a lie in the zone of truth?
Yeah, maybe spin the
That sounds
bottle.
like fun.
Oh, did I mention there were 2 other people with him?
You may have left that out.
I only saw the one.
Whether I did or didn't, it's okay. It seems like Aris's companions were maybe eaten by the magic light. And man, like if I had to choose out of the 3, obviously it wouldn't have been those 2. I was really kind of aiming the destruction at Aris, but shoot, man. This is a moral dilemma that I didn't expect myself to be in. I really thought it would be like cut and dry.
Fourth wall breaking. This is a moral dilemma that I'm having a tough time with, guys.
This one hurts.
In character.
Luckily, I think you will have plenty of time to think about it, as I think that is a perfect point to end our session.
Oh.
Can I just ask, what can we call you if not Star? She clearly hates being called this.
She hates being called this. Just give me a moment. Yes, you really.
We could
really
say
do.
it for next time.
leprechaun
No,
of
no,
I love this. I love
hospitality.
this. This is a great thing to end on.
I don't. Yeah,
I'm very
that
prepared for
vibe of
this.
like she's clearly
I was like,
making sacrifices, but he's like, no, shut up. You're gonna be the name that I call you. This dynamic is weird.
I didn't want to push, but I was like, would you be like, hand on your mom's journal in any way? Like,
Yeah, good question.
how close in
I
your
think-
luggage is that kind of?
Well, I think in that exchange before Star stopped looking so much like my mom, I was just in shock. And then it
Mhm.
happened so quickly.
Yep.
Rob explained the transition to
Yep.
be like pretty obvious that she no longer resembled her. So I think it was just like shock and then lingering and things got moving. So I don't know if
Well,
Cassie
she just hid
responded.
most of her features to make it less of a shocking.
Join us next time. Huh?
Anyways, let's round this out. As you look towards her and ask her, "What can I call you?" She very obviously kind of grabs at a little journal that you see now that she holds. One that she says, "Well, I've asked Scotty to tell me some of the stories of this world, and as a manifestation of the Feywild, he's been able to give me some names that speak true to me. I've struggled to choose." And with that, we will call it a session to find out next time what Star might want to be called.
And what the hell is going to happen to Oris Varus?
See if Parable. See if Parable
Nar.
kills a leprechaun.
Oh my
I'm
God.
understanding that it's like also our environment and it's a bigger situation, but oh my
No,
gosh.
I like the
You have to
visceral
play that
response.
out.
Like you've gotta, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there is no more of a rock and a hard place than being within safety, I think. And then that safety itself being like, well, if you kill me, you don't get any of this.
Ugh.
Like, I disappear.
The tongue in the monster's mouth.
Anyways, I gotta say my thing here. This has been a bite-sized, dice-rolled, twice-told story told by yours truly, Rob Whitehead, and brought to life by my players, G, Maya, and Sav. To post about the show, use hashtag DiceSized. That's DICESIZED. For more like this, follow us on Instagram and find us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/DiceSized.
DiceSized.